Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the ByteJam, a collaborative study jam brought to you by the various clusters of DCS and GDSC. We hope you enjoyed the break and had a chance to refuel and recharge. So please maintain the energy level. This session is going to be more fun. We are now entering the third session. We are now entering the third session of the ByteJam, a collab between AR/VR and promotions. Before we dive into the exciting world of promotions and marketing, let me introduce myself. I'm Kamakshi, and alongside me is Kritik, and together we'll be handling the promotions and marketing part. Now, let us see as a whole what we're going to see in this session. Firstly, we're going to see the recent marketing and promotional techniques. And moving on, we'll be exploring AR/VR models for enhanced promotions. Before that, I would like all of you to say whether, to answer the question, whether promotions and marketing are the same or they have a difference. And if there's a difference, you can mention like whatever you feel, what meaning you feel promotions and marketing is. You can type in the chat. So whatever comes to your mind about promotions and marketing, you can just type in. So let us take a real life example. So I would first explain a real life example that, and you would get an idea. So let's take a coffee shop to illustrate difference between the promotions and marketing. Marketing for a coffee shop involves defining brand identity, creating a menu, and designing the ambience of the shop. So the coffee shop's strategy might focus on positioning itself in a cozy neighborhood spot where customers can relax and they could be offered a high quality coffee. Promotions on the other side are specific tactics aimed at driving short term sales and increasing customer engagement. These could include offering discounts, providing coupons, hosting events, and etc. For example, the coffee shop might run a promotion where customers receive a free pastry with purchase of a specialty drink on particular hours in the morning. And also, the shop could organize a themed event such as live music night to create a buzz around the brand. I hope you would have understood the difference between the marketing and promotions. Let's look at the PPT. What the exact definition is. So marketing is a broader strategy focused on understanding customer needs and building awareness. So it is a broader strategy, and under which the promotion comes in, involving short-term tactics within the marketing aimed at stimulating immediate sales or interest of products through incentives like discounts, contests, or special offers. So all of you got an idea about marketing and promotions. Now we have Kritik to explain about the recent marketing techniques used by companies to sell their products and services.
Hello everyone, I'm Kritik, and let's see how companies use many marketing methods to market their products. So you know that companies of various sizes employ many marketing strategies to promote and market their products to their customers. In this study jam, we'll be looking at three main marketing strategies. But before that, I want the participants to guess which three options out of these five might be the top three. You can go to the link below to vote or scan the QR code shown on the slide. To vote any top three out of the top five that is shown on the slide. Okay. You could also choose any two, not just one option. You can choose any three out of five. I can see one for social media marketing. That's great. Anything else? Let's wait for some time for more people to join. Okay, I see one for referral marketing and one for email. Okay, that's great. Okay, so three votes for social media marketing, one for email marketing, and another for referral. Okay, the results are slowly coming in. Anything else? What about influencer sponsorship? Is that a great thing? What do you guys think? Let me know. Final results are 4 votes for social media marketing, 3 for email, 2 for influencer sponsorship, and 1 each for referral and search engine optimization. Okay, now I'll now reveal the correct answers. The first correct answer is social media marketing. The second is email marketing. And the third is search engine optimization. We'll take a deep dive into what these three marketing strategies are now. First, social media marketing. Social media is a great marketing tool to promote a product or getting your company generally known to people. These social platforms can help you reach a wide audience of different demographics. I'm pretty sure many of you here use Instagram. You see, Instagram, for example, has a user base of 2.6 billion people. Isn't that amazing? Considering the average world population is around 8 billion. You can use such a big platform to even provide support to customers and build a great, healthy relationship with them. Take Kurukshastra's social media handle, for example. There are around 11.6K followers. It's a great place to promote shirts and events that are available during the 3-day cultural fest. The merchandise sales can also be boosted through word of mouth using the chat feature that's available in the social media apps. And the second one is email marketing. Email marketing is a bread and butter method to market a sale that might be happening on an e-commerce platform like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, and the others. It can also be employed to gather feedback and conduct surveys from customers to better improve the services provided, whether it be a digital product like a subscription or a physical product like a water bottle. Most of you here might own a domain email of your own, one provided by the university or college you study in. You receive at least one email a month advertising an event or an occasion that is happening in your university. That's a great way of letting students know what is happening in their campus. And the last and final method is search engine optimization. Before I explain how it's another great tool, I'll give a short intro to what SEO is. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It's a process of improving a website visibility on search engines like Google, Bing, or Yahoo. The goal is to increase organic traffic, that is non-paid traffic, to the website by ranking it higher in search engines. This is a nice and subtle way for getting your brand name established around the internet. Okay, here are some memes regarding the same. The left meme is basically the life of a digital marketer, where even if he sleeps, he's mostly pondering about what to do and how to run successful ad campaigns. And the right meme is about the reality of SEO optimization. Okay, everyone knows that every strategy comes with its own set of problems. Hence, we will address the same that is faced by companies here too, starting with social media. Every ad campaign that runs on social media has to be really unique and different from others to ensure consumers are constantly being engaged with great content. This consumes a lot of time and resources for the same company. Adding to this, negative feedback posted publicly in the comment section could really damage the company's reputation to a great extent. This is problematic for public relation teams as that might result in a dip in revenue generated. With email marketing, the email you send could be filtered into the spam folder. This is managed automatically by the email provider such as Gmail, Outlook, ProtonMail, etc., unless the customer manually intervenes. This forces the company to specifically articulate emails that do not get filtered, which adds to the crime consumed. And the last and final drawback is with SEO. Search engines like Google itself use complex algorithms to determine the ranking of websites. These algorithms consider many factors, such as the relevance of the content, the quality of the website's design, and the number of other websites linking to it. Meeting all these criteria and keeping up with the changes can be quite tough. Search engine algorithms change quite frequently too, sometimes several times a year. These changes are often aimed at improving the quality of search engines. However, they can also make it really challenging for website owners to maintain their rankings. Even if you optimize your website perfectly according to the current algorithm, it can take some time for search engines to index your site and recognize its true value. Additionally, competition for top rankings is fierce, and it may take some time to climb up the ranks and see significant results. But don't worry, augmented reality can alleviate most of these problems faced in the promotions and marketing sector. Kamakshi will go in detail about this. Over to Kamakshi.
So, as we saw some of the drawbacks of the methods, recent techniques, marketing and promotional methods, AR/VR technology has the potential to address several drawbacks we saw here. So let us see some of the features of this. Firstly, we have the virtual showrooms. Customers can explore products in realistic 3D environment, interactive product models that customers can manipulate and inspect from all angles. So they can view the design in an intricate manner. Augmented reality try-ons for products like clothing and accessories to enable customers to try them virtually. So this allows them to see how they look without visiting the physical store. So we have next the immersive brand experiences. We can design virtual environments that reflect ethos and values of the brand. And also immersive storytelling can resonate with your audience. So a strong storyline of the brand can attract more customers. Thirdly, we have the location-based AR marketing. So AR technology can be used to create physical environment, like to develop, we can develop treasure hunts so that the customers can solve them and reach the landmarks of the brands. And finally, we have the gamification. Integrate product demonstration into AR VR games. Create environment where users can interact with the product and also use them to solve puzzles and advanced games. Now let us look at some of the real life, like already companies are using this in their in promoting their products. Adidas, I hope everyone would know about this company, and fashion and sports related products company. So Adidas has used VR to give its audience the ultimate experience of what it's like to climb a mountain. So they have their product called Terex. The brand's line of outdoor gear utilized VR to stimulate one of the hardest climbs on the Delicatesten route. Through VR headsets, players were able to experience virtually climbing the mountain, and it also helped educate users about basic practices in rock climbing by letting them enjoy the realistic outdoor scenery. Through this VR experience, players can travel to other places and have a chance to do or new challenge activities. It created an immersive outdoor experience and gave its audience a clearer idea of climb's scale and what it entails. Next is the McDonald's Happy Go Goggles. McDonald's has leveraged the power of virtual reality to tap into the interests of younger audience. So to attract the kids, they introduced this Happy Meal box and turning it into a VR viewer like the Google Cardboard. The Happy Goggles are then used to access a fun and educational game called Slope Stars, allowing children to experience virtual reality. With this move, McDonald's had made virtual reality more accessible to the public, as the VR viewer can be made at home by repurposing limited edition Happy Meal boxes. So this was a great idea by them, and it attracted more of the customers. And finally, we have the Volvo. And trying out a car and going through a test run can be difficult, especially if you don't have a car dealership close to where you live. So, to cater to this problem, Volvo used VR to let users test drive the XC90 using their phone and experience a weekend escape via an app. The virtual drive puts users in the driver's seat and takes them for a ride through a mountain. This enables users to go on a virtual adventure, coupled with an immersive experience that delivers stunning 360-degree landscapes. The technology also allows users to examine the car's interiors for themselves using the Google Cardboard. So this would help the customers to see the design more accurately, and they would get an experience beforehand. Best of all, even if users didn't have a Google Cardboard headset, they can still enjoy the app's features. This campaign led to an increased number of inquiries requesting more information and more than 20,000 app downloads. So you can see how this AR/VR had helped in promoting their brand. Now, before I hand over to the AR/VR cluster to explain about more in detail, we would like to explain some technical terms which the companies expect from the people who are requesting for a sponsorship.
Before we
These
see the,
terms,
we'll have a small Menti quiz, little small Menti quiz. I want everyone watching to put what marketing terms they know by going to the link shown in the slide. You can also scan the QR code. It can be any marketing term. It can be random. It doesn't have to be specific to AR. Any marketing term is great. Send me your inputs in the link shown in the slide. You can also scan the QR code. Okay, that's a great net margin, CTC. Okay, nice. Anything else, guys? We wait for some replies. Okay. Revenue, product positioning. That's great. Okay. Kuruksastra special guest. Okay. Stay tuned to Kuruksastra social media pages so that you can know who's coming. Product value. Okay. That's nice. Brand value. B2B, B2C. Okay. Margin. That's also a great input. Any other marketing terms? Anything related to promotions? Pitching is a great uh, marketing term. DCS is awesome. Thank you so much. Uh, and value, okay. SEO, nice. Equity, that's great. Okay. So out of these marketing terms, we'll be explaining 5 of them. The 5 terms we'll be seeing now is B2B, which is business to business, B2C, which is business to consumer, gross margin, EBITDA, and equity. So to explain the first 3 terms in an easy to understand manner, let us all consider a situation where we go to a shop to get a bar of Kit Kat, which is personally my favorite. Sorry if any chocolate lovers are offended. Let's say that bar of Kit Kat costs 20 rupees and it's made by Nestle. The shop has to first stock up the products they want to sell by acquiring them from these manufacturing or industrial companies. Hence, before the shop can sell the KitKat to us, they get it from Nestle. The sales transaction between these two companies, which is the shop and the industrial company, is named B2B, which is business to business. Now, when the shop sells it to us, that transaction is named business to consumer, shortly B2C, where the business provides products or services to the customer. But the profit earned from selling that bar of KitKat isn't the whole 20 rupees if we consider the cost of the goods. So to measure the profit a company makes, we use the term gross margin. So gross margin is the difference between revenue and the cost of goods sold divided by the revenue itself, which is usually expressed as a percentage. This percentage can be used to check and track the growth of a company's sales revenue. The other 2 terms will be explained by Kamakshi.
The next term we have is EBITDA. So it is a financial metric used to evaluate a company's operating performance. So it involves earnings. Earnings is the profit before the expenses like taxes and debt. Uh, and the taxes include income tax, right? And depreciation. It is the allocation of tangible assets over useful life. Amortization. It is similar to depreciation, but instead we use the intangible assets like patents or copyrights. It is used by the investors and analysts to get a clear picture of company's profitability and cash flow potential. Now let us look at equity. In simple terms, It refers to ownership. Ownership, it involves ownership stake. When you own an equity in a company, it means a piece of that company. So if it is represented by shares. For instance, the company has 100 shares, and you own 10 of them. So you own 10% of that company. The value of the equity depends on the company's performance. So if the performance increases, the value also increases, and in some at some point of time, if the performance decreases, the value also decreases. And also, you have the rights and responsibilities. So if you own an equity, you have the right to take important decisions of the company. So I hope you would have understood about these technical terms. So would like to hand over to the ARVR team to explain the yeah.
Hi everyone, I am here to present you the AR part. Now first let us see what is AR. Everyone gets excited about knowing the AR. First we can see technically what is AR. AR is the integration of real world with the computer generated visuals in real time. The main difference between AR and VFX or CGI they used in movies, the VFX and CGI are not rendered in real time, but the AR are rendered in real time. Now let us see the types of AR. Mainly there are two types of AR. First thing is markerless and second thing is marker based. First we will see about markerless. In markerless, the AR, to trigger the AR, we don't need any kind of marker or tracker or anything. Just it uses cameras and sensors and algorithms to detect the maps and to place the AR object. The example of markerless AR are, as we see in the slide, the Pokemon Go. Everyone might have played this game. The Pokemon will be somewhere in the world, just we have to go and catch it and it will be super fun, and it is a markerless AR. The second example of markerless AR is Google Maps. Here in Google Maps, we don't want any marker. It uses GPS to track our location and it will just superimpose the computer generated visuals in real time so that we can go to our destiny with perfect visuals. Then let us move to marker based AR. Marker based AR, we need some kind of tracker to trigger the AR. The, the first and basic example of this is we all are using the classmate notebook. In the classmate notebook at the back there will be a QR code. If you just scan that QR code, it will be redirect to the website where you can see lot of AR object around us. It is also used to promote their items. Another type of example for marker-based AR is there will be a big billboard on the roadside. If we just scan it, the products of their companies will be popped up in our phones in real world, so that their products will be promoted using AR. Now the most important part, the applications of AR. First thing, education. Nowadays, most people not nowadays, in the whole human history, the humans feel bored of getting education because the books are very much full of text and it will be very number laggy for students to read it. So if we think of a technique where people get more interactive way of learning the subject, students will be very joyful and very much eager to learn the subject, so that they can grasp the concept easily, and their interest towards learning will be very much increased, so that the students get more knowledge about the subject they are reading, and most importantly the students will have practical knowledge about the subject other than theory. The education is used in many parts such as mechanical engineering training or doc for healthcare. It's used in clinic for surgery. We will see that more in upcoming slides. Yeah, as I was saying, we will see the application of AR in healthcare. The first thing in AR is in healthcare is training the doctors. First thing, training with AR reduces the usage of cadaver. The meaning of the cadaver is dead people. There will be always lot of debates in the social life whether we have to use the dead people or not, whether it is ethical or not, whether the family of the dead people will be, whether the family of the dead people will accept it or not. So if we introduce AR, the usage of dead people will be very much minimized. Then the most important thing is we can see the anatomical structure of operating person in real time, so that the doctor doing operation can complete the operation in more precise way, and the possibility of failure of operation is very much less compared to normal operation, because the doctor have the visual of everything in the body, each by each layer, like you are seeing in slide. Now let us see the part which we most interact with here, the fashion. Yeah, first we will see about the lens card. Every people who are wearing glass might have known this feature. The lens card have this options in their option or in their app to wear the glasses virtually without actually wearing it, and we can just see whether the glass fits to our eyes or not without even going to the shop, so that so that the cost of keeping the showroom for Lenskart also decreases. At the same time, we don't want to go to the shop to buy something. Then let us see about the British brand called Burberry. Many people might not have knowing this. This Burberry is a British luxury brand, and it's not open for all. It uses AR to see the object. If we just open their app, we can just keep the object in real world, in real time, in real size, so that we can get experience to it even without going the shop. Then the then we know that Adidas is the topmost sports shoe selling company. Even it provides the AR feature in which we can wear the shoe without even wearing it in real world, so that we can see whether the shoe actually fits us or not, whether the design is liked by us or not, so that we can get lot of features just by sitting in our home from manufacturer. Then we can just see they are reducing the cost of keeping the showroom. Yeah, now let us see the difference between AR and VR. Many people always get confused the difference between what is AR and VR. The main difference is in virtual reality, the whole environment we are seeing around is not real. It's everything is computer generated. As I was saying, in augmented reality, the argument means adding some. The literal meaning of argument means adding some more layers or adding something extra. So it means the reality which is something added. So it's called augmented reality. But in reality. It's not added. It's completely virtual, and virtual reality are mostly used in games, and there there are a lot of applications in virtual reality such as metaverse, and they are not mostly used to promote the object. So augmented reality is used by a lot of common people because, as I was saying in the application, we can just promote or we can just increase the features of the real world just by augmented reality so that we easily get benefited just by seeing the real world, which we can't do just by our eyes. Now let us see about how we build our AR, and I am handing and I am giving it over to Arka to present.
Okay, so now that we have an idea of how do promotions work and how what the basic of AR is, let's actually learn how to build that AR filter, that AR effect that you want your product to have, that you want your company to have. Okay, you have built a product, right? So and you want to promote it. You know how promotions work now. You know the basics of AR, but how do you build it? You have a lot of options out there in the industry. You have a lot of things that you can do. Be it complex, be it simple. What's the best way to do it? What's the easier way to do it? We'll be seeing that right now. Okay, so before going into the thing that we'll be actually testing out, let's talk about the tools that are available in the industry. Well, different companies all around the world have given different kind of tools, software development kits, all of this that we can use to make air filters, right? So, you have Unity, you have Unreal Engine, you have Lens Studio. By the way, this is given by Snapchat itself, where you can make Snapchat filters. I'm pretty sure a lot of people here have used Snapchat, and the filters that you see in Snapchat, you can make it here using Lens Studio. Moving on, you have the most famous Instagram and Facebook, right? So, how do you make those filters? For that, Meta or previously Facebook has their own software which is called the Spark Studio. So whatever filters, whatever experiences that you can see on Instagram is made using Spark Studio. You have to use Spark Studio to make these filters for Instagram. Not only that, even big companies like Google have their own software development kits like AI code that they can use and the other people all around the world can use to make their own AR experiences, be it for their Google Cardboard lens, be it for normal AR experiences. And then you have Apple's AR kit also that Apple provides specifically to make up AR experiences for Apple devices. Now let's go on deep into how these softwares work. See, Unity, Unreal Engine, Lens Studio, Spark Studio, this actually are quite complex softwares where you have to explore it quite a lot. You have to learn a lot of tools that are present in the software to even understand and start making your own specific filters. So, what do we do? We'll be using something called WebAR, and the specific site that we'll be using is mywebAR.com, also known as DevAR. So the thing is, this DevAR is much more of a what do you say, a simpler version, easier way to make your own AI filters using the web. Like it doesn't matter whether you have a good CPU or not, good laptop or not, you can make your own AI filters using this. So just open up Chrome side by side, go and type in this address mywebAI.com. Okay, let's before moving on to why we are using WebAR, before why we are not using the Unity or Snapchat Studio or something, why we are using WebAR. So first point that comes is accessibility. So direct access through a web browser. So the thing is that if you're in Unity, if you're in Snapchat Studio, if you're in Metaspark, you have to set up your laptop, you have to set up your PC, you have to have a lot of things with your side. In the Metaspark Studio, you have to use your own phone to test it out. Placing this AR filters into the phone and testing it out, even building it in the first place requires a lot of technical knowledge. Here, the accessibility is much more easier. Any newbie who wants to come in and build their own air filter can access it directly from a web browser and start building it. It's like two clicks. and you have a AI filter on your own. We'll see it in the later slides, and we'll do a presentation on how can we actually build using DevAI. Next is compatibility. The issue with a lot of these engines, be it Unity, with Unreal Engine, with Snapchat, it's like it's platform specific. You can only build for Apple devices. You can only build for Instagram. You can only build for Facebook. You can only build for Snapchat. WebAI doesn't have that. Doesn't no matter what kind of device you have, where you want to put it, you can access it all throughout. It doesn't matter if you have an iOS device, Android device, you're testing it out on a simple Windows machine, or even a Mac you have. You can test it out anywhere. You can see it anywhere, right? And the access through web browser makes sure that you can build on any device, access on any device, experience on any device. Moving on, development. Now, of course, there's an AI filter is there. You have to develop it, right? As I already said previously, the previous things that we saw, whether be it Unity, Snapchat Studio, whatever it is, you have to learn a lot. You have to have a lot of technical jargon with you. You need to know how to build this. You really can't come in, okay, I want to build this in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or on one day. You can't really learn it in one day and build up while not knowing anything. You have to have a basic idea of how the software works or how the technical stuff works. But here, that's the difference. It's so user friendly that you can just go in, you can just see the options, and it's easier for you to understand. All of these things are coded for you. All of these options are present for you, where you can just click, drag, and drop onto your object, onto your 3D model, or whatever you're making, and the development becomes faster. The development is much more easier. So it's faster to learn and it's faster to implement. Moving on, we had this we discussed this concept for compatibility, right? Where you can actually meet for only one kind of platform, one kind of device. So sharing is much more easy in web there. So for example, you build a filter in Windows. Now you want to share it to all the people using Apple devices. Now, if you normally it's kind of hard to do that. To make it much more easier, WebAI is present. So sharing becomes much more easy. You can have links. You can direct to different kind of websites using a small. You can have a QR code. Okay, for example, you have a poster that you've made to so that you can promote your product more and more. Now, along with that poster, if you can have a QR code where people can scan that QR code, and that QR code shows everything, the 3D experience of the product they will be buying, or the event they will be going into, or the service they will be getting off. Now that becomes a much more of a better promotional idea, better promotional way. That's the thing that the promotions cluster also agreed upon and explained on, right? So that's the thing of with sharing. Where you can easily share through links, easily share through QR codes, and it's much more easier to work with where. Now, okay, you have a product, but how do you get to a filter? You can't really just click a picture on your phone and put it up as an air filter, right? It's a 3D experience. So you need to have a 3D version of the product. You have made it. If you're going to the factory, you have a 3D product with you. But how do you put it up online? How do you take that exact image, exact product that you have made, and put it into an augmented reality filter? For that, you need something called 3D model. You have a product that is in real life. You need to implement that same thing, replicate that same thing, and put it up on online and make the filter out of that. So 3D models is the answer. Now the picture that you see, I know it's very random to see just logos here, but I'll explain what it is. So all of these logos that you see are 3D modeling softwares present in the industry, present given by different companies all around the world. Now let's start with Blender itself. Okay, you can see this orange kind of thingy going out with a blue center in the middle. This is what you call Blender. Why I'm starting with Blender is that Blender is free, Blender is open source, and it's easy to use in that sense. Anybody who starts in the realm of 3D modeling starts with Blender, and that's something that's common in all over the world. So in terms of Blender, Blender is a very, it's what do you say? It's an advanced software, but you can learn it. You can learn and make your own 3D model. For example, okay, I have what do you say, a mobile that I've made. My company has made a mobile, and I want to give an AR experience to the users. How to do that? You can just download Blender, open it up, learn 3D modeling, and model your own phone. That so now You are not taking a picture of it, but in sense, you are just making that exact 3D model of your phone or of your product and making it in a FBX format or a GLTF format, right? Other things you have ZBrush, you have Autodesk Maya, you have 3ds Max, and you have a lot of these options that are present in the industry right now. These things not only give you the access to 3D modeling, but also give you access on how do you want the other people to interact with it. Okay, so you have a 3D model, but only a 3D model, a static 3D model doesn't look good, right? So what you can do is that you can make an animation in this 3D modeling software, in this animation software, and make it dynamic. For example, let's take a bottle, right? You make a 3D model of a bottle. Now, if I put it on a just a normal filter, it will just stand static. It will not move here or there. What you can do in that sense, you can animate that object, put in some a lot of effects, put in a lot of materials, and make it much more of an interesting experience. So the other person seeing has a better idea of what they're buying, what they're spending their money on. Right. But okay, making 3D modeling and all, it's fine, but you need to learn it, right? Whether if it's Autodesk or ZBrush or Blender or whatever it is, you have to learn it. And yeah, I agree, learning is a tedious process. Not everybody wants to do it. People are lazy and all. And specifically for promoting a product, you don't want to, hire total 3D modeling just for the normal filter, right? So what if you don't want to make it from scratch? You have answer to that also, and that is online resources. Well, there are hundreds and thousands of 3D artists all around the world. These 3D artists contribute their own 3D models, and you can think about just about anything, whether be it a shirt, be it a bottle, be it a bag, or even what do you think, even what is a normal terrain, train, bus, whatever it is, it's like what is a flagpole, a tree, or whatever it is, anything that you can think of is present in this online resources. Some things are free, some things you have to buy. Now, you have a lot of examples, right? You have ArtStation here, you have PG Trader here, you have Sketchfab here, okay, and you have is all of these resources, and these are just the popular examples in that sense. There are so many websites that are not so popular, but still you can get the 3D models and the experiences from them. And the thing is, you don't only get the 3D models. Along with that, you also get the materials. Like a product is only 3D model, fine. But the reason a product is sold is because how it looks. Looks matter a lot. So you can get all these materials also in this online resources, in this online website. Not only you can download the 3D model, you can also download the materials that go on it. Thus, make it much more of a wholesome experience. You can get whatever you want, right? So enough of understanding of what we are using. Let's actually get to building one. So before going into this, we'll be using something called Sketchfab, right? See, so this is the website of Sketchfab. You have to sign up for where you have to create an account, and then only you can use this. So let's explore this website a bit. Okay, you have the store models. You can see this. These are things that you have to buy $24, $10, $5. You can explore this. I mean, of course, if you have a lot of money and all, go around and buy it. But for people like us in a broke college kids who don't have much, you can use this also. If you see this downloadable option, right, means it is free. You can download any kind of material, any kind of, see, these things are modeled by hand by this artist all around the world, and it is animations also. You can test it out. Okay. So let's, for example, take this old rusty car, just for an example. Okay, let the 3D model load a bit. See, the thing is, this is a full-on 3D model. Now, the thing is, this has a model from the base. You see each and every part of it, even the texture and material of it has been modeled. So you can just go forward and see, interact with it, understand what you're going to download, understand whether this is going to be useful for you or not. Okay, it doesn't look much good. Yes, it's a rusty car. You can use it for a horror game maybe. Okay, But yes, let's move on to something else. You can see you have characters also. So for example, you if you want to create a full on animation for your product, well, basically you have a 3D modeled animated video for your own product. You can use this kind of characters also, right? See, there is so many and so different kinds. Like you have this abstract art, you have real art, you have this inspiration taken on from different objects that we find around in real life. Now for products, what can we think of? Let's search maybe water bottle, and let's search just by searching water bottles, see how many models we are getting, and so many. It's not like one. You can use any kind of this model and any of it among this download. Just simply download, and it will be available to you to use in your 3D modeling software, to use in your AR software or whatever it is, right? Let's you see something whichever is pretty. Okay, let's take this. This looks nice, and it's freely downloadable also as I saw. So see, this looks almost like a real water bottle in that sense. Water bottles we get in like in normal shops and everything, right? So we can go around and interact with it, right? You have the cap, you have the metallic body, you have the plastic cap on top, you have the this kind of a super bottle also you can say. So let's move on. This is given by a artisan Burgetic, and you can download the free 3D model from here. You can even see the model with Blender 2.8 free and painting substance painter, right? So you can understand what kind of model that you are using and how you can use it in your own project. Moving on, just click on the download 3D model. So you have the licensing information, of course. This is being provided in public, so there has to be some kind of a licensing act so that the artist who is making it has, copyright and has what do you say, access over it. That everybody knows who's the artist making it because a lot of effort goes behind it. So you have this format. You have FBX, you have USDZ, you have GLTF, you have GLB. Now these are different kinds of formats that you can use in your 3D modeling software or AR software. Things that you can import and use, right? So the original format here is FBX, and it's one of the most popular formats out there. Also, there's GLTF, which is also quite popular. You can download it. Basically, just click on download, and it will download. It will download as a zip folder first, and you have to unzip the folder and get the 3D model and the textures from there on. Okay, so here it is, and let's see something that's paid in that sense. How to get something that's paid? As you can see, you have this $6 thingy here. So this models are paid in that sense. So you have to pay for it to unlock the model, and then you can, of course, download it for your own use. Now that we have a basic understanding of where we are getting our 3D models from, and by the way, we'll be using 3D models from here only. Let's search something else, except for a water bottle. No, let's search a product like, what do you think is the most popular product in colleges? Shirts. Let's go on with shirts. See, you have hundreds and hundreds of shirts modeled for you. Then you can just change a bit here and there, and then you can just give a AR experience to the consumer buying the product, right? Cool. And what else can we think of? What else can we think of? Bag. Bag is a product. Cool. See, just a simple bag. It's not that you're getting only one kind of bag. See, even you have this normal, what do you say, this things that you find in factories and all. This also has a model for you. See, you have this, Louis Vuitton bags. You have this bags that don't look that good. Bags you get it in normal local shop market. Anything, be it looking expensive or be it looking not that expensive, you can find it here, right? So let's move on to actually building the AR experience. So for that, as we already discussed before, we'll be using something called DevAR, right? I think you guys can see it. Okay. So what is written here? All-in-one augmented reality platform for anything, for enterprise, or for creators, for businesses, whatever it is, right? So let's explore this a bit, and then we'll go on with actually making and how to make your own air filters. Okay, so this has been, you see, this is quite popular and it has been used in Forbes and Entrepreneur and all. Right. See, this is the kind of interface that we'll be using. This car has been made as a air filter, and you can see you can share it anywhere. You can model any kind of thing. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen Flipkart using this kind of things, where you can test out any kind of product on your own real life and see and understand how it works. Right. So first of all, this is a very big thing. No code required. Okay. The thing with making a lot of complex air filters sometimes includes working with something called a patch editor and working with something called uh, programming languages. So this patch editor and programming languages are kind of complex to learn. You need to know the things that you're using. You need to know the connections that you're giving. You need to know the code and program that you're going to write. But here, the positive side is all of this coding, all of this node thingy is done for you. You don't have to do it again. For you can just click, drop down into your project, and carry on. Okay, design experience for any purpose. Okay, we did explain about promotion, about sharing a product, about marketing a product, but it's not only about that. You have marketing, you have retail, you have enterprise, you have art and media, you have education, all of these things that Tejeshwaran talked about, learning, art and media, enterprise, and all. This all can be used and made using this simple interface, simple thing that we're going to see in short time, right? So, okay, so see this experience, experience, see this explanation in that sense. So here you have add AR into real world objects and equipment. You have an object already. So you just want to share in that sense on how it works, right? So okay, you have an object, but you want the what do you say the consumer to understand how to use it. For example, this is a what do you say this is a motor or something, right? So this can be used for educational purposes also. That a student uses his phone, clicks on the motor, and that like focuses on the motor and can see and understand what are the parts that go into it. That is the kind of experience that AI brings in. That is the potential for AI. So you can have onboarding trainings, you can have hands-on training, you can have experience tailored to your business. The one that promotion cluster talked about was having experiences only and only for your business, right? So you have templates. That's a very big thing. We have all these 3D artists and AR artists and VR artists that work using from scratch. They build up things from scratch. If you have templates, you don't have to build it from scratch. So that's making you much more. This is already easier. Templates make it much more easier. So in that sense, you can build AR experiences in what 5 minutes, 2 minutes. So it's much more easier these days. So these are the kinds of augmented reality that are present on the web. Okay, and this is kind of important. You have flat track imaging. Okay, flat track imaging in the sense that okay, you have a card that you have a business card, for example, and anybody who you have given a business card, you just want them to understand, okay, what kind of business you are, what kind of services is provided. For example, you are an artist, and just having a card doesn't make much. For example, if the people can just track your card and can see what kind of art you make, that's something that normally doesn't happen. Normally, you can't get it in real life, right? But AR makes it possible. You have curved image tracking, something that recognizes curved images like cylinder shaped objects and all, and just makes it a much more of a better experience. Like this is just an example. For example, someday you bring up your own beverage brand. Okay, you're trying to sell kind of coffee or soft drink or whatever it is. Now, you have a lot of competitors in the market. How do you present it properly? How do you make it market properly? This is something that teenagers and then people who are interested in tech and kids can use. Kids can be I want to buy this can just because so that I can see this experience. That's something that can increase your business. You have wall tracking, you have face filters, of course. Snapchat face filter is very popular. You have wall tracking, you can track anything that you want. Okay. And you have multi-scene, you have object tracking. This object tracking, by the way, is a very important thing. It's quite popular in the AI field. and that is basically what do you say, using any kind of object to augment whatever you want to do. Okay, so for example, take like let's say for example you are having this thing, the lens card option that was given. Okay, lens card option, and then you have this field like AR filters in Flipkart. They use object tracking in these face filters to basically track your face and put up your goggles or track some kind of your object and make you understand how that object you're going to buy. For example, what do you say, a badge for your bag. We used to have badges for bag and all that. How that badge will look on your bag, no, that's something you can understand from here. Okay, let's move. You have Pro Editor for advanced users, also people who actually want to do it from the scratch. So it's very, what is it, versatile. You can make it in 2 minutes, you can make it in half an hour, 1 day, 2 days, how much time you want to take by coding everything from the basics. Right. Let's move on to actually building it. So, well, this is the dashboard. This is where your AR experiences are gonna be built. Let's understand the format first. On your left hand side, you have content, branding, marketing, extensions, settings, code editor. Okay, let's go through it. This is the content. Content meaning this is where you're gonna build your full on AR filter experience. This is where you're gonna understand what you're gonna build. This grid space that you see here, right? This grid space is nothing but a kind of what do you say, a space that we will be augmenting in the real time in the real world, right? So you have next called branding. If you have a, okay, you have a company, but if you just buy the subscription or something, this can also work in that sense. This is a pro experience, so you have to buy it. But custom welcome screen, you want your own welcome screen instead of having Dave as welcome screen. You can have a loading screen. For example, you have a company and you want to show the logo of the company before the air filter. You can do that. You can have a watermark of your own company. You can have an object placeholder, basically a 3D placeholder that will display when the objects are being loaded, right? And you have, what do you say, a helper message and icon. You can put up custom messages for the users using it. Next, you have marketing, and then you have sorry, just wait a minute because technical glitch. Okay, then you have this kind of extensions. Extensions are nothing but things that are provided by this company so that you can make your AI filter a much more of an intriguing and an interesting experience. These are things that helps your business, that makes your AI filter much more better. And let's go to some of it. FPS counter. Monitor the performance of your AI experience. Who are the people using? How they are using it. You have the marketing tools. You have things like Unity Alpha, building something in Unity and then importing it into DevVR. Okay, you have things like Google Analytics. Okay, you want to use your AI filter in an online ad. How do you do that? How do you understand how many people are interacting with it? You have Google Analytics for that, right? So next you have the settings for a QR code and the advanced settings that you can explore. And next, you have the code editor. This code editor does nothing but where you can write your own code to make your own AR experiences. Cool. Let's build one. So the things that we have here, we have already, what is it, imported models from Sketchfab, by the way. All of these three models that you see are imported from Sketchfab. Okay, this one is loading, by the way, so it's gonna take a bit of a time. Okay, but let's try with the hydration bottle. Cool. Now that we have selected here, you can see a lot of these options on the right side. What is this? Add action and behaviors to make objects interactive. Let's scale it up a bit. Okay, because this is gonna be very small. I guess this is fine. Yes, this is fine. So what you see, this is basically positioning your object in the 3D space. This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, this is your z-axis. So I'll pull it up so it doesn't go down the plane because I need to keep the things over the plane to see the whole thing, because if I don't, this thing, I will only see half of the bottle if I put it below. Okay. So you have this. I have scaled it up. Okay, and let's add some animation in that sense. Let's add action. Let's explain you what this add action means. So you have open a web page on click, play a sound on click, rotate objects on x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, play 3D animation on start. So open a web page on click means, for example, you have AR filter and you want people to redirect your own website or a website where you can where basically they can find your product. So you can use this. Open a web page on your click. You can play a sound on click. You can basically use this rotate object on X, Y, and Z axis. So when they interact with your filter, it will either rotate on the X axis or Y axis or Z axis. Okay. Play a 3D animation on start. For example, you have a concert. Okay. And okay, once you have the QR code on the poster, and you can give them a basic kind of a experience of what the concert is gonna be like. For that, you can use this play 3D animation on start. That is basically show you how basically give them an experience on how the 3D and of what the actual venue, actual experience be like. You have this make a call and click. Okay, you want to make the experience much more of a personal touch. Make call and experience. When they click on the filter, they will basically they will ring you up automatically. Send a text message and click. You can set this up also. You have a text message. Okay, thanks. Like you can send them a message like, okay, thanks for experience of a filter. This is where you can get your product. Okay. Next on, we have generated named event on timer, generated named event on click. Okay. So basically, even like named event on timer or named event on click is something like, once you click on the filter, it will show something that you want to show. Something maybe an extra experience, something that you want them to show, whatever, whoever is coming to the, what do you say, coming to experience the air filter. You have changed material variant on click and change material variant and start. Okay, in lens card, as we have already discussed, you can just change your material, change your color of the specs. How do you do that? Changing color of the specs is nothing but changing material of the specs. So you can do that also. You can change the material variant on click. You can change the material variant at start. Okay, basically giving them a much more of a wholesome, full-on experience on how to do it. Okay, so these are the things that you can use. But let's use this rotate object and y axis and click. So it will rotate basically. Okay, and give you what do you say? Once you have the air filter, it will rotate around the y axis and give you a full on experience on how the bottle looks from inside out. Let's change it a bit, so that we have a better. Let's change. We have already changed the scale. Now let's change the rotation. Give it 45 and give this a 45. Cool. Let's preview this. Let's see how it looks in the real world. For this now, you have this preview button. Let's launch and wait. Okay, we'll remove this. We'll remove this and let's preview it once again. See, here you have it. Let's preview this. See, here you have it. See, it's rotating slowly and all. You can even see the insides of the bottle in that sense. Okay, so let's bring it up a bit forward. It's just tinkering around the dashboard and whatever you have, so that this thing that you're seeing in the preview is the exact thing that the other person, that your consumer, is going to see. So let's change our rotation speed in degrees per second. Let's change it to something like 10. It's better to see it move a bit faster. Let's launch it. And here you have it. See, you can even see the insides of the bottle. Basically, have a full-on experience of what you're gonna buy. You're not able to touch it, but you're gonna have the visual input of what you're gonna buy, right? What the consumer is gonna experience, what the consumer is gonna buy, even have the materials on it, right? Let's move on with something a bit more interesting. We'll use this. This is the shirt, by the way. Okay. How you can import models? You ask. Okay. So click on this plus. You have all of this shirt and you have this different models that we have imported. You can just click on upload. Okay. And any kind of model you have downloaded from Sketchfab or the Art Station or something, you can just upload and put it into here. So this will kind of be a good experience. Okay. So this is a shot that we have imported. We'll try to import it once again. yeah, since it's on website, it takes some time to load also sometimes. Okay. So yeah, don't be afraid it's not coming exactly sometimes. Sometimes internet speeds also affect this a lot. Right. Cool. So I guess these are the things that you can use. We had an example for t-shirt and an example for this thing, shopper bag. So I guess the internet is a bit slow, so showing this may be a kind of an issue right now. But yeah, the other things is you have image and videos and audio, text and whatever it is. So this is important by the way. Let's bring in the hydration flux again. Okay, give some time. We'll bring in the hydration flux again. So see, these are the basically the light sources that you have. So these light sources are nothing that is mandatory to be had to have in a air filter. So you have a better experience on what you are seeing. If you don't put these light sources, they'll be dark, and if you don't put this light source in the correct position, it will not show all the angles perfectly. So you need to have these light sources. Mostly this will be given by default, but you can change this also. You can add a light source. You can add directional light, spotlight, ambient light, hemisphere light, point light. You can use all of these options, test out the different things, which is looking good, which is not looking good, right? And yeah, that's it. So moving on, let's go back to, if you have any question answers and all, we'll go back to that. Okay. So yes, Q&A time. So if you have any questions or something, just put it out in the YouTube chat related to promotions or related to AR/VR. Anything that you have, just put it out there, and we'll see to it. Okay, so there's a question for alternatives for web AR. So, like in terms of web AR, there are a lot of different websites you can try it out. Okay, not only it's DevAR or something, but you have all of these different websites and alternatives online that you can just search web AR on Google, and you'll be able to find examples of how it happens. Okay, how they're gonna make it, and everything depends a bit here and there. And an important part of it is yes, this. Okay, so once you have the filter ready, okay, there is something you need to do, and that is an important part, and that is publish. Okay, to save your project, and okay, see, once you have it, you can just publish, okay, and it's gonna show our QR. So for now you have this thing, the QR code. That's basically what you say. You can embed it, you can download it, put it on your poster, or you can embed it in your website and give them, or even send them the QR code link or the AI experience link. Okay, you can directly send them the AI experience link through mails or on a messages or something, or give them the QR code link itself, and have a AI experience that is live that is publishable, that you can put up anywhere and give any kind of consumer to to experience. So yeah, that's the basic explanation on how promotions of your product work, what's the basics of AR, and how you can use an easier version of AR, and that is web AR, to promote your product. So yeah, any more questions? We'll wait for some time and then we'll end it. Cool then. We'll be ending the session for now. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for understanding promotions and asking us, being active throughout the meet. And yeah, see you in the in future sessions. Thank you.
Hello guys, this is Akshay over here. Now I'm going to let you guys dive into the sea of designing. To begin with, we'll start learning the basic design principles, and among them, the first design principle we are going to see is color theory. Color theory is nothing but it just describes the behavior of a color. Colors are basically classified into three types: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary colors are those colors that cannot be mixed or formed by any other combinations of other colors. Like all the colors are derived from these three hues. They are namely red, yellow, and blue. Whereas secondary colors are formed by mixing the primary colors. They are green, orange, and purple. Whereas tertiary colors are formed by combinations of primary as well as secondary colors. They include yellow orange, red orange, blue purple, and blue green, etc. So when we are discussing about colors, there are certain terminologies we have to be aware with. Like the first term is analogous colors. Analogous colors are those three colors side by side in a 12-part color wheel. And second term is complementary colors. Complementary colors are those colors which are like directly opposite to each other in the color wheel. Third is hue. The hue is like, it's the purest form of color, any color. And tint is like the combination of hue with white. Tone is a combination of hue with gray. And shade is a combination of hue with black. So when we are discussing about color theory, there are something apart from color theory also, which is color psychology. Color psychology is nothing but it's the study of hue as a determinant of human behavior. That is nothing but each color is connected to different emotions. For example, red represents strength and power, yellow represents happiness and fun, green represents nature and balance, and blue represents calmness and reliability. So the next design principle is contrast and balance. Like first, what is contrast? Contrast is like, it's a difference in brightness, hue, or saturation, or even shapes between two or more elements in a design. Why do we use contrast? This is like, to create a sense of depth or like a dimension or movement, or to give a specific attention to a particular element. So here in this example, if you look over the right side, you will find the other two elements in the white and the center one is given in black. This is nothing but to differentiate the center element and to give priority more to the center element rather than the other two on the either sides. So the next thing, balance. Balance on the other hand in design covers like how elements are weighted against each other on different sides of a design. We use balance to create like cohesiveness or completion or to create a sense of stability. So when we design something, we have to make sure whether the design is vertically, horizontally, as well as diagonally balanced. And there are different types of balance also, like symmetrical balance, radial balance, discordant balance, mosaic balance, and asymmetrical balance. The one you see over here in the slide is symmetrical balance. Like when you see the left side as well as the right side plane is symmetrical. The next but most important principle of design is typography. Typography is nothing but it's the art of arranging letters and text in such a way that it makes the copy legible or clear and visually appealing to the readers. So there are different kinds of typefaces like serif, sans serif, and decorative. Serif are like, these fonts have extra strokes at the end of each letters. Sans serifs, as the name suggests, it lacks those strokes, lacks the serif. So thus it makes the font look more clear and we use this in headlines and stuff. Okay, decorative fonts are nothing but we use it for like, aesthetic purpose. The next design principle is visual hierarchy. Visual hierarchy is like, principle of arranging elements to show their order of importance, like structuring their visual characteristics. For example, here over the right side, we have no highs and lows in the fonts or anything to differentiate between the title, subtitle, and content. Like it doesn't look catchy to the reader. Whereas in the left side, we have used bold face for the title and little we have changed the size for the subtitle as well as the content. So this looks like, we can directly, within a second, you can grasp what is there in the design without any discrepancies. The next design principle is layout. Layout is the process of arranging visual elements like text, images, and shapes on a given page. This is to grab the reader's attention and to communicate information in an appealing way. The last design principle which we are going to look at is white space. White space is also known as negative space. It refers to any blank or empty space surrounding all the other elements in a design composition. So there are different types of white space you have to mind. So there are active white space, passive white space, micro and macro white space. So what is active white space? Active white space are those spaces which we intentionally add, like we intentionally add to highlight certain elements. And the passive white space is like the space is naturally created between the words or like around fixed objects like logos, etc. And micro white space is like the small spaces between elements like space between lines and paragraph. And macro on the other hand is the entire space around the and between the major layout elements. Like, for example, you can say the content blocks on the websites. Like these are the websites, these are the design principles we have looked at, but there are like 13 other principles, and we just looked at the most important and basic ones. So if you guys have any queries, please shoot it down in the chat box and to get your answer. Over to Madhu.
So let's see about some of the basic UI and UX interface. First, basically, UI stands for user interface and user experience is UX. So let's start it with a simple story. So we all know Heinz, right? Like Heinz ketchup. So in 1890s, Heinz invented a ketchup bottle, which is a normal glass bottle. So the design is also good over there, and the only thing they feel difficult is that they have to take the ketchup out of the bottle. And then what happened? It went like 80 years. In 1980s, what happened is that they just invented a squeezy ketchup bottle, which is upside down and it's lighter as compared to the glass bottle. So here you go. Here the ketchup bottle is a UI and the taking ketchup from the bottle is a UX design. In the first case, the UI is which is the ketchup design, which is good, but UX is hard. In the second case, both UI and UX are good. So that UI, which is user interface, which stands for like visual part of the application that it determines how the user interacts with the application. Simply, it focuses on the web page or app's interactivity and look. UX, which is user experience, it is a design discipline that helps to create meaningful and relevant user experience. It focuses on the user's overall experience with the product or website and how it feels while using the application. So the main difference on both is that for a good design, you have UI and UX. Both have to be good. So let's dive into some of the basic user interface principles. So first we can see like user-centered design, which is also like UCD. So it is a design process in which designers focus on the users and their needs, goals, challenges, and outstanding understanding of their behavior in each phase of the design process. One of the best example we can consider for this is like Apple's website. Apple designs each of its web pages to provide information in visible manner. User can better understand factors such as product types, features, speculations due to their sleek and organized display. UCD basically involves ongoing research, testing, evaluation of products. There are some factors like desirability, viability, and feasibility in UCD. Desirability is more likely to be what makes sense to users. Viability is like users should be able to see from the beginning what they can do with the product, what it is about, how they can use it. Feasibility is like is functionally possible. Then we can head over to the main design principle, which is consistency. UI design consistency refers to the practice of maintaining a consistent design language throughout an entire digital product or service. It is one of the important design principles that helps with the easy navigation of your application without any confusion. It is achieved by using same colors, typefaces, spacing system, icons, and etc. We know like some popular companies like Facebook, Twitter, Google are using consistency for long period, which is used to from the user's point of view. Then we can head over to the basic principle, which is accessibility. It ensures that digital products, websites, applications, services, and other interactive interfaces are designed and developed to be easy to use and understand by people with the disabilities. Users should be able to find information easily and quickly. They should offer various ways to find information. For example, we can consider like call to action buttons, search options, menus, etc. There are some basic examples like alternative text, color contrast, keyboard navigation, and voice assist for people who are having disability. Then we can go for usability. Usability is the way to measure how easy a product is to use, just like a testing process of the application. A design's usability depends on how well its features accommodate its users' needs and context. It involves navigation, familiarity, consistency, error prevention, feedback, visual clarity, flexibility, and efficiency. Then the last design principle is alignment. It plays a crucial role for UI because it organizes items, makes them easier to read, and enhances user engagement. They give our designs a visual framework that makes them coherent and consistent across many platforms and designs. For example, in the given example, we can consider in the left side, we can see like the icons and the text are not aligned properly in between. But in the right example, the things are aligned properly with the same width. So alignment plays an important role in the visual clarification. So there are basically many types of alignment. We can consider horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, and object alignment. Vertical alignment is produced when the middle, top, and or the bottom of the items line up on a hidden horizontal line. Horizontal alignment is produced when the middle, left, and the right side of items line up on an apparent vertical axis. Lastly, object alignment for media object is to create your icons and align the text on the left. So if you have any doubts or queries, you can let us know in the chat box. Scan this QR code or click the link provided in the chat box for accessing the assets provided.
Yeah, so hi guys. So basically it's a holiday evening. So let's have a quick design session. So when you head on to figma.com, so you have to basically log in. So after you log in, this will be the interface you will be facing. So in the interface, it's pretty clear that you have a Teams panel and Drafts panel. So Teams panel is basically a collaborative platform where you and your teammates can collaboratively design in a single file. So as of now, we can just use a design file, and also you have an option for ByteJam board. So basically, when a UI is designed for an app or a website, the basic principle is within the you have to work on the UX of the app so that you come up with a very good experience of the UI. So for the research purpose, ByteJam board is used. For the UI, we can start with a design file, a draft file. So this will be the interface. The name of the file will be here. You can always rename it whenever you need it. So as of now, we'll name it as ByteJam. So the Figma interface is generally divided into three panels: the layers panel, the tools panel, and the properties panel. So the layers panel will be like whatever elements you add in the frame, the layers will be appearing here. So from the tools panel, you will defaultly have the files options and then move tool, and also you have a scale tool in it. The frame tool, the frame section size. The frame tool is basically what's the frame you are going to design for the app or a website. So as of now, we are going to design a mobile screen, which will be the checkout page of a credit card app. So for this, we will be using an iPhone 13 and 14 screen. So this is how you will be looking at this. This will be you will get in after you click on the frame. So next we having some of set of shapes and tools, which are the rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, polygon, star, and an image holder. So after that, you will be having a pen and a pencil tool, which can be used to create any illustrations, vectors, or even you can draw random things. So next comes will be a text tool. So for adding a text and all, you can use this tool. Then comes the resource panel. So in resource, we will be having components, plugins, and widgets. The components will be mostly the workable form of a UI design or a element. The plugins are the predefined or pre-made community set of design aspects which are provided by the communities to in order to we should not like we can't even do everything from the scratch, like something you have to do icon or element you can always get from the community using the plugins or any other. So then we'll be having a hand tool to move around the workspace and a commands tool. So whenever you are collaborating working with a teammate, you can always add a command so that other person who is looking into the document can know what you are doing or else. So I guess so before getting into the design part, you have to import the asset file we are given. So basically this is the explanation about the workspace. So in order to import the asset file, we'll head back to the files menu and then from the link given in the chat box, or if you have already scanned the QR, you will get access to the ByteJam design Google Drive folder. So from that folder, you can download the file. Yeah. So after downloading the file, you can import from this option and then from the computer. Just double click the file you have downloaded and it will get imported in the Figma file. It takes some time to import. Yeah, so it's not finished. So double click to open the asset file. So you will be provided a credit card design and the system bar. So from here, as we did already, like select a frame. We will be doing with the iPhone 13 and 14 as of now. So this will be the scene you will be designing. So for better visuality, we'll give a radius of. So before getting into this, the properties panel, here are the alignment of the elements, and then the location. The XY corresponds to the location in the X and Y axis. The WN represents the width and height of the element. This angularity, and this is corner radius. And then we have an auto layout option, so that if you add a number of elements in the scene, this feature will be used to auto layout the elements in a particular order. And then we have grid. If you need to align any objects or elements in the scene to a particular grid system, you can use this. And then fill, float, and other effects. You also get drop shadow, inner shadow, layer, blur, and background blur. And yeah, so starting to the design part, the screen, you'll give it a corner radius of 20. And from the asset section, you can just drag and drop this file. Make sure it's perfectly aligned at the top of the screen. And so at the top, we will be having a back button and the name of the page and this scanner elements. So to getting the back button and scanner icons, we'll just use the plugins so that we can finish the design easily or in time saving manner. So for plugins, you can search for icons. You will get number of options from it. You can use any of the one. I will go with icons now. So here you will be getting a lot of icons. You will need. It's also illustrations are also available. Animations and all also available. So for the back button, we will be having a chevron. Just you can select what you wish. I will go with this. And also we need a scan icon. This looks good. It's fine as of now. So as we already discussed in the design principles, the consistency is important. So basically the two icons has to be consistent on the size and the width, the width of the elements. So let's align this with the card towards the left, making sure the center of the alignment is there. And then we'll be having the name of the page. For that, we'll be having the checkout page. Let the font be, and then the size of the page will be 20 pixels. Will center align to the screen, and make sure all the three elements are center aligned to themselves. For that, we'll be using the align vertical centers, and also don't forget to group them. So basically, this as of here, we are having three set of elements. One is the system bar, then we have the top menu of the page, and then we will be having the chart. So we have to give an equal spacing between them so that it looks good, and also the hierarchy so for that we will be selecting the three elements. Here we will be having the distribute vertical spacing, so it will almost distribute equal spacing. We can also edit it, adjust it here. We can give it around 25 pixels. So the next part will be like holder's name, and then the card number, and then the yeah. So for creating the name of the name box on the number, we will be using the rectangle. And before that, to inform the users that you have to add the details of the card, we'll be having a text like to have add card details. We can give it around 18 pixels or maybe 18 pixels. Also central left align to the card. And then we will be having the card number or so the card number details will be typed here. So for that space we are giving the box, and then we have to remove the fill and give a stroke of 1.5 pixels. We can change the color to somewhat gray. The head store is 767474, and also we can give a corner radius of 10 pixels. Make sure it's center aligned with the screen, and then the size, the width we can give around 350 pixels, and height is 50 pixels. So to inform the users that this is a card number slot, we have to add a text so that it defines the object. So we'll add a card number text here and give it a font size of 15 pixels. We can probably change the opacity to 50%. So don't forget to group this item to have a basic. So here we'll be having a three set of elements. So we will give a vertical spacing between them. Okay, cool. It's 25. It's fine. So next we'll be having the card holder name. So we can copy paste this same element, or else we can use the Alt option in the keyboard. You'll be giving the same spacing will be provided here also, and this will be card holder's name. And then the expiry date and the CVV of the card should be mentioned. So for that we'll be copy pasting the same element, and you can resize the fill. So this section is for expiry date. Make sure everything is aligned perfectly. And then this will be the CVV of the card. So as of now, as 80% of the design is over, and we'll be having a confirmation checkbox. So for that, we'll head over to the plugins. We'll go to the icon stout again, and here we will search for check probably. So let's import this as an SVG file. So for the confirmation text, we will be having a notification like save card details. Make sure it is aligned centrally with the icon, and then we'll be having the checkout button. So for that, we will draw but rectangle. The width will be 350 pixels, and then the height will be 50 pixels. The rounded radius will be 30 pixels. So make sure it's aligned centrally with the screen. The fill color will be, the hex code for the fill color will be 280274, and you can also change this color to this. You can select the elements, click I for the eyedropper tool, and you can just multiply the color to that. Then we'll be having the text in the button. Give it a font size of 20 and center align to the button. So for that, you will be selecting the button vertically center and then horizontally center. So yeah, so this will be the basic design we will be carried out today. I hope it's clear on how we will be starting off our design. From so yeah, so if you have any queries on how on the UI UX principles or designing part, you can feel free to put it in the chat box. And now you will now see how the UI design is then carried out in the development process of Flutter. Yeah, thank you.
So okay, we can start with the how to put the UI design on what we already made as a credit card research. First, we have to know about the what is the basics in Flutter and all. So we have to know the some basic principle of about what is the variables. PPT etc. So okay. First, we have to know about some basics in Flutter in Dot. So, for that purpose, we have to see some concepts in variables, functions, class, stateful, and the stateless edges. In future slide, we have to see some details about this one. First, variables. When we see about the concept of variables, we should know how to declare and initialize the variable and what are the common data types. In dot variables, we are using var, const, and final. See, var is a dynamic typing. Like in Python, we are using some name is equal to something, or some name equal to some integer. Like that, var is also using here. And then constant final. Constant final is similarly same, but the difference between the constant final is the compile time constant only. Compile time constant means while compiling the code, then only that variable can assign to that value. And then we have to know about some common data types. In dot, we can use int, double, and string. Commonly, the integer data types is used to store the integer value, and double it is used to store the decimal value, and string is used to store the text. It may be some long text or some short text also. Next, we have to see about the functions. In Flutter framework, we should know about the function. That means the function is used to break down the larger components into smaller components. For that purpose, we have to use the functions. So before that, we have to know how to declare the functions, what is the syntax of the function, why we are using the function in the dot. Okay. In dot, function are mainly used using the void keyword followed by the function name and pair of parentheses. This is the example of the void function, but basically the syntax of the function is return type and the name of the function. Inside the name of the function, what we have to explain means that we have to write inside the function, and then we have to pass the parameters also to that function. For that, I as already we studied in C and C++, like that only we have to pass the parameter, and then we can access that parameter inside our function. The next slide is about the classes and objects. In Flutter framework, we should know about the concept of classes and objects, because basically the Flutter is the framework which consists of more number of modules and packages. In when converting the UI UX designing to code, we are just inheriting the whatever property in the framework into our code. That's why we should know about the defining, how to define the class and how to access the class by the objects. Okay. Here, using the class is important, which uses the objects by using the new keyword. As we already know in C and C++, we are using the class and accessing the class by the dot notation. Here also that same only. First, we have to create the class, and for that class, we have to create the object, and by this object we can access the whatever properties in the class by the dot notation, and we can access whatever any methods or functions and accessing properties in private or public, that may be anything. First, for accessing thing we should know about the how to make a object. And then the new important concept is stateless and the stateful feature. Commonly, in Word also we can say that state is a changeable thing. When we see about the stateless widget, whatever you can see in the app, which is not able to move means that is the stateless widget. That means that cannot be changed once we initialized. So it is called as the mutable state only. For example, we can say the text, icon, images. In Google also we are seeing the logo of the Google that is not changeable. So that is the example of the stateless widget. Unstateful widgets are the exception of the stateless widget. That means some animations, triggering UI, forms, and textable formats like that only. The text field also one kind of the stateful widgets only. When we compare these stateless and the stateful widgets, we can some advantages in the stateless widgets. That means stateless widgets is the immutable only. So we don't need any state management like a provider or GetX. So when we compare this stateful and the stateless widget is static, so it is useful. And then we can see some code snippets about the both stateless and the stateful widgets. This is nothing but it's looking like a long only, but it's came by typing st-full or st-less in the Android Studio. That will be teach in the future. See, in the both code snippets, we are seeing the similar function, build function. We will see about that build function detail in the future slides. Next, our first aim is to converting the UI UX design to code means we are using the credit card packages. So we should know about how to import the credit card packages in our Flutter project. So we have to import the import credit package of credit Flutter credit card slash Flutter credit card dot in the main.dot file, and also in pubspec.yaml file we should implement the Flutter credit card latest version in dependencies. In next slide we can see detail about that. So for that we should know about what is the pub packages. Basically, in Flutter framework, the pub packages plays an important role, which consists of the collection of more dot libraries and the assets that can be imported and used in our Flutter project when we want to use its properties and the accessing process. The next one is how to import the pub package for that credit card functionality. Once you open the Flutter project in our code editor like Android Studio or Visual Studio, we can see the pubspec.yaml file. In that pubspec.yaml file, we can see the dependencies. Under the dependencies, we should import the whatever I said that syntax we have to import. The next one is designing the UI. Basically, the designing of the UI contains the two basic things only. That's nothing but layout and the styling. In web development also we are seeing the layout is the structure of the web, and styling is created by the CSS. But in Flutter both are the combined one. So when we see about the layout, we can use the mostly like widgets as container, row, column, stack, text field, like that one. Why we are using this layout means we have to form the structure for that application. For that purpose, we are using the layout, and styling is done by some color, text style, and decoration classes, which allows you to add some additional feature like animations and the shadows regions and gradients like that. The next one will be some common widgets in the Flutter. These two widgets are the important widgets, which is used to detect the error from the screen protection. The first one is the safe area. We are using the safe area in situation when the pixels of the application crashed. For that purpose, we are using the safe area. Ensure your app's UI elements stay clear of the system intrusions like the status. We are seeing the status bars like text boxes and some widgets as like the more pixels means it reaches that error conditions like some of the pixels are detecting. For that, in that situation, we have to use the safe area. The another widget is the single child scroll view. In most of the apps like contacts or the Google searches, we are seeing the list items. List items now. In the list items, most of the items like have the feature like scrollable one. For that scrollable animation, we should use the single child scroll view. Inside the child scroll view, whatever we given that inside that one, it may be result as the scrollable one. The next one is set state method. Mostly we already discussed the stateful method. In stateful method means it may be happen some animation, some upgradation, some addition, always will be happen in stateful widget only. That animation, that updation will be happen only with that set state method. For example, consider we have the to do app. In the to do app, consider the plus button. When we press the plus button, the list item have to form newly. Another time if we push the plus button, another list have to form newly. See, there is some updation. That means list 1 to list 2, list 2 to list 3. If we press the n times the plus button, the n list items should form. For that purpose, we are using the set state method. See, inside see the right side, we can see some syntax for the set state method. Inside the set state method, we have to include the widget whatever it may be update in the future. The another one is build method. I already said that in stateless and the stateful widget, the common one is the build method. Without build method, we can't build the whole app. That means the build method used to return the widget whatever we created on the Flutter project. So if we see the description, it contains the two arguments only. The first one is the build context. It is passed as the parameter to that build method, which used to access the inherited widgets as like mostly whatever in the framework we can inherit by using the build context parameter. And the main use of this build method is the return value only. It returns the whole widget what we created. The next one is about the widget tree. Widget tree only determines how apps UI is structured or displayed, or essentially the hierarchical organization of the widget. See, the next one is in our aim, we have to create the credit card code. For that purpose, we created the structural hierarchical tree. First, we have to know about the material app. Inside the material app, we should implement the scaffold with the home, and then we can have some app bar or safe area, single child scroll view. Already I explained that. And then we have the column, elevator button. In future slide, we will explore detailing. See, in this picture, we have some two main containers. The first container is the app bar, which explains what is the usage of that particular application, like that one. In app bar, we see there is some 3-dot symbol, and then Surat, and then the plus symbol. Mainly in app bar also, it contains the 3 typical items. The first one is the leading icon. The leading icon means whatever we gave in the leading, it will come at the first of the app bar. So we should know about the leading also. The next one is the Surat is sent from the text widget, and then the plus whatever in the after the text always will be in the actions widget only. Action widgets will give us the options to implement the more icons after the text widget in the app bar. The next one is the whole second container. It contains some pictures and some 32 sunny text and some temperatures, like that. It is the only example for the weather app. In that weather app, we can see what is a column, what is a row, and again we are seeing the column. Column means we can initialize the widgets in column wise. We can scroll or something that widgets in column wise. In that column we are defining the row. That means we can access the widgets in row format. Okay, in future we can know how to implement that design to code.
So hello everyone, now I'm in the Android studio. Now we'll be implementing the code. First we'll be importing the Flutter credit card package. For that, we'll go to this project tab, and from here we'll click this project. And now we'll go to the pubspec.yaml. So basically, the pubspec.yaml contains all the necessary assets and the packages that are required for our Flutter application. Now under the dependencies, I'll be adding the Flutter credit card colon, and I'll be giving the latest version. Currently, it is 4.0.1. Now after that, I'll open my terminal. After opening my terminal, I'll be giving this command, that is flutter pub get. So yeah, now my Flutter credit card package has been downloaded. It might take some time on your laptop. Now I'll be going into the code. I'll close this pubspec.yaml. So all of your code that is written in dot, you will find it in the live folder. Under the live folder, you will have main.dot. If you have freshly created an Flutter application, you might find some counter application. You can remove the whole code and use this one. So first, these two lines, we are basically importing the necessary packages. This Flutter material.dot is a package that is required for all Flutter applications. And this one is the Flutter credit card package that we have downloaded now. So these are the necessary packages that we are importing. And now this is the main function. Just like in C and C++, you will be having main function. There's a main function in Dart also. This is the entry point for your Flutter application. Now this main function has something called as runup function, and in the runup function we'll be giving a widget that to be run continuously. And generally we will give a stateless widget. So again, I have created a stateless widget called as main app. Basically, I'm creating a main app class that inherits from the stateless widget. And this is the constructor for our main app. Now we have the build method. Build method is basically called whenever your UI is being rebuilt. It returns a widget and it takes build context as input. So here we are returning a material app. So basically, material app is the root of your widget tree, and I am returning it to the widget tree. And under the material app, I have something called as home. I'm setting the home to the credit card screen. Here, the credit card screen is nothing but a stateful widget. So we are using stateful widget here because we want our UI to be rebuilt in the runtime. So we are using a stateful widget. And here, this is the constructor for the stateful widget. And now, stateful widget has something called as a create state function. So let me give you an analogy. Let's say you're having a box and you're placing a controller inside that which has some buttons and levers. By changing the buttons and levers, you can change the contents in the box. So basically, the box is the stateful widget, the controller is your create state function, and the contents in the box are nothing but the widgets in the stateful widget. So basically, using the create state function, we can control all of the widgets in your stateful widget. And now there's a private class called as state of credit card screen. This contains all the state of your stateful widget. Now here I have initiated a few variables. This one is CVP focused. It's a Boolean variable if you want to focus the CVP or not. And here is a show back view variable. But it is used. We have used this for whether you want to display the backside of the credit card digit or not. And we have card number, expiry date, card holder name, and the CVV code, which are strings. And these variables will store the input from the user. And here we have something called as a form key. Form key is a unique key by which we can access the state of the credit card form. So that by using this state, we can modify the UI in the runtime. And now I have defined a function called as on credit card model change. See, whenever a user inputs the data in the credit card form, the same data should be reflected in the credit card widget also. So that we are using this function, and in this we are having something called as the set state function. Basically, set state function notifies or actually it reflects the change whatever there is in the UI. Without the set state function, your UI will not be rebuilt. So basically, I'm setting these variables so that whenever there's a change in these variables, the set state function will set these variables, and those changes will be reflected in your credit card widget. Okay. Now the next we have again a build method, and we are overriding it. So now what we are doing is that we are returning a scaffold. Scaffold is basically a core widget, and under this widget we'll be giving all the necessary UI components. And now I'm having something called as app bar. Let me show you. So this is the final UI when it is completely built. The app bar is nothing but this part of the screen which you are seeing. And this app bar takes an app bar widget. And app bar widget has some properties like title, background color, and center title. So title takes a text widget, and I have given card settings. And now I'm setting the background color to be light blue. You can set it to your any favorite color, like let's say white. And now see, Flutter has a great feature called as hot reload. Now I have changed the code. If I want this to be reflected, I don't require the whole thing to be rebuilt. Just I'll click on this button, and yes, now my code is updated. So this is a great feature in Flutter. I'll change back this color to light blue. So yeah, with this background color, we can change the background color of our app bar. Now we have the body. Body is basically this part of the screen. So this part of the screen contains the major UI components. We have given a safe area. Like already explained, safe area prevents its children to overflow from the mobile screen. And for this child, I have given something called as a center widget. The center widget basically centers all of your UI its children into the center of the screen, so that all of its children are in the center. And now I have used single child scroll view. So basically, if the children of the if the child of the single child scroll view becomes larger than the height of the screen, it basically makes it scrollable so that there is no render overflow. For example, if I remove this one, I can remove it simply by right clicking it, show context action, remove this widget. And now I'll hot reload it. Now there is basically no single child scroll. Now if I go on enter the input, see I'm having a render overflow. So prevent that render overflow, I'm using the single child scroll view. And for that I'll undo that. I'll again hot reload. So now if I'm giving the input, we can see that there is no render overflow error. So we are using this single child scroll view so that there is no render overflow, and it's making its child scrollable. Now under the single child scroll view, I'll give something called as column. So basically, column takes children. The widget we saw before takes child. That means that it can only have one child. That is one widget under it. Now we are using something called as column, which takes children. So basically, we can give an array of widgets that will be organized in a vertical way. So the first widget we'll be using is the credit card widget. Basically, the credit card widget is this widget which we are seeing here. So this takes a card number, an expiry date, a card holder name, CVV code. These all are the strings, and we have set this to these variables so that by when the user enters, these variables change, and this thing is reflected in the credit card widget also. Now the show back view is a boolean variable, that is if you want to see the backside of the credit card or not. And now we have one thing called as on credit card widget change. We'll give it a blank function, but we'll give the parameter as brand, which is of type credit card brand. You want to change this function only if in the runtime you are changing the brand of the credit card. And now I have some more parameters called as obscure card CVV, obscure card number. These are basically boolean parameters. That is, if I want to hide the credit card CVV and the card number, I'll give it as true. Suppose I'm giving it as false. And I'm hot reloading the application. You might not find any difference, but once if I give any text, see the text I have given here, that is reflected in the credit card, and the whole card number is seen. Now if I see, I'll enter the CVV also. CVV, we have to see the CVV. We can just click on this. We'll find the CVV. You can see that the card number and the CVV both are visible. Now, maybe for some security issues, we might not want to show them these informations, so we can mark them as true. And now I'll again hot reload. See, now you can see that the middle digits of the card number are hidden, and the CVV is also very well hidden. Now we'll have something called we'll see these two parameters: is holder name visible and is swipe gesture. So holder name visible, it is also like obscure card CVV. If you want to show the card holder name, you will mark it as true, or else you will give it as false. Now if I'm entering your name, see card holder's name is visible. And now let us say, for again security issues, I want to hide the card holder name. I'll give false instead of true. See, now this card holder name is not visible. I'll again revert it and I'll do hot reload. See, now the card holder name is visible. This swipe gesture basically enables you to look the back side and the front side of your credit card. Suppose if I disable this one, that is if I give false, and I again hot reload. See, now even though I'm clicking on the credit card widget, I'm unable to see the back side of the credit card widget. Now I'm again giving true and I'll hot reload the application. See, now I'm able to see the back side and the front side by just clicking on the widget. And now I have something called as card type. Card type, we use it if you want to set the card type to Visa or Mastercard or American Express like that. Now currently it is set to Visa. If I change it to American Express, let's say, see here we can see that it is American Express. And now let's say I want to change it to Mastercard. See, it has changed to Mastercard. Now I have something called as card form. Basically, till now what we have did is to change the parameters of this credit card widget. And now we'll be looking into this form widget. So basically these text fields. The text field takes a form key. Like I have explained, this form key is used to access the state of the credit card form. Now I have card number, expiry date, a card holder name, a CVV code, and again I'm having the same obscure CVV, obscure number is card number visible. Now here the card number visible is slightly different. Suppose now it is currently set to true, right? I am unable to see the card number in this text field. Suppose if I mark it as false, the card number is won't be visible. Like you cannot take the card number as input from the user. So generally it's not the case. That's why we'll mark it as true. Okay. And now the same thing is with the expiry date visible, is card holder name visible. And now I have something called as on credit card model change. So we have created a function, right, on credit card model change. We'll give that to here. Make sure that you want to give the parenthesis. If you give parenthesis, it will not work. Now we have given the basic of the form. Now if you want to decorate or style the credit card form, you'll using the input configuration. So the input configuration basically takes card number decoration, expiry date decoration, CVV code decoration, and the card holder name decoration. Basically these all are input decoration. So we can decorate this input field using this input decoration. Now let's say I have removed the input from here. I have removed the input, and now if I want to decorate this input field, I will be using this input decoration class or widget. So I have a border parameter. I have given outline input border. So basically this outline input border creates a rectangle around the input decoration field. Suppose I will comment on this part and I'll hot reload. So you can see that now the rectangle around the input field is gone, and we can see a plain blank, which is generally not wanted. That's why we are giving the border. So yeah, now the border is visible, and label text. Label text is nothing but, see, now none of the input fields are selected, and you can see some text, right? Number, expiry date, CVV, card holder. So basically these are the label text. And now let's say I have selected this input field, the text will go here. So this is the label text, and the hint text you are seeing this, right? This X, that is just to indicate, that is to give hint to the user that what type of input should be given. And here and this X are visible. Now let's say I'm giving the input, the hint text will be stop to visible. They'll become hidden. Now the same thing is with the expiry date decoration. We'll set the border as outline input border, and we'll have an expiry date. That is, we'll give a label of expiry date, and we'll give a hint text. And now we have CVV code decoration. It is same like that of card number decoration and expiry date decoration. And we have card holder name. Let's say if you want to hide the card number or card holder name also, you can give the you can set that here. So let's say if you want to give some hint to the username, you can give. But most probably we want to give the input, the hint text to the names. Okay. Now we have completed completed decorating the input fields. Now we'll be decorating. Now we'll be decorating the text inside the input fields. So for that, we'll be using the card number text style, card holder text style, expiry date text style, and the CV code text style. Basically, this takes the text style widget, which is responsible for styling the text inside the input field. Now let's say if I give a font size of 40 to the card number, you can see that this thing has grown. This thing size has increased. So now if I give the input, it has become large. So generally we don't want this much huge size, so I change it back to 20. You can change the colors. You can set the colors using the colors dot. There are multiple colors that are inbuilt in the Flutter. We have light blue, white, cyan, blue, deep orange, and so on. Generally, text purposes we'll be using black, right? So we'll set it to black. Now the same thing is for text style, the card holder text style, the expiry date text style, and the CVV code text style. Okay. Now by this we have decorated the text inside the input fields also. Now we have something called as sized box. Sized box is nothing but if you want to add some space, right? Here you can see some space around it. So basically, by increasing the height, you can give space between the consecutive widgets in the column. Let's say I have given it to 30, and I'll do hot reload. You can see that my elevated button has moved on. To make it more noticeable, I'll increase it further. Let's say to 80. Watch it now. See, the button has moved down by 80 pixels. Okay, and now this is just the size box purpose is just to give space between this widget, and we have some other parameters inside it. It can take a child width, height also. So now we'll come to the elevated button. Elevated button is basically a button, and it takes child as a parameter. Now let's say I want the text checkout to be visible. I'll give the text widget so that it is shown on the button. And now suppose if you want to change the styling of the button, now it's currently cyan. Now let's say I'll make it to white. I'll use this button style widget so that background color is changed. See, now the background color of the button has changed. So you have some other properties also in the button style. These are the properties which you can see. There you can change the text style, the background color, the foreground color, the overlay color, shadow color, and so on. So basically, Flutter provides you with a lot of options inbuilt. And now that's the end of our session. I'll just show you the demo of this application. The user just enters some details, let's say. User just enters the card number, the expiry date, the CVV, and the card holder name. That is your name. And now, when the user clicks checkout button, it should navigate it to the next page. But currently we have not given any page. You can change it by this on pressed function. On pressed function basically tells us what to do if the button is pressed. So yeah, that's all. If you have any queries, you can tell in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you for joining this session. Stay tuned. We'll be bringing lots and lots of events like this. Thank you.